This is a DM guide for DragonDelves, Death at Sunset, the first chapter. It's ideal for first level characters and you can put it in any forest in your homebrew. So we begin in the forest, where 6 elven families planted a tree each in a grove to celebrate ending a dispute. This is Redwood Grove. Long ago, an ancient green dragon made a lair here, and the locals named it Death at Sunset, due to its feeding times at the end of day. A warrior called Ethvan and others vanquished the dragon, but were all wiped out doing that. Recently, Redwood Grove has seen a spreading sickness, a blight among the trees. Then also, villages started to disappear. So, adventurers were called on to investigate. As we, the DM, know, an egg has hatched, releasing a wormling that calls itself Sunset is Nigh. Now, as your players enter this village, they'll see close to 100 people milling about. They live in wooden huts thatched with leaves and vines. It's a peaceful place, populated by hunter types. You can have some homes being constructed and connecting bridges between the treetops and perhaps second stories of buildings. Now, there's 3 council leaders, one of which is missing. He went off to investigate the blight and hasn't returned in about a month. He is a skilled tracker, so he could be still out there, but it's just odd. And his body hasn't been found, so hopes are high. We're talking about Armin Whisperwind. And the 2 other council leaders are a little worried. Gwen Humara Goldmoss is a healer who aided the wounded when Death at Sunset first attacked. She's worried the ghost of the ancient dragon is still residing somewhere in the woods, because she's having nightmares about that, and this makes her not want to leave the village. Selenar Woodwise was actually one of the people who did fight the dragon, and knows definitively the thing was killed. He is steadfast in his belief that this blight can be nothing to do with Death at Sunset, and he wants the rumours to be stopped among the villagers. So these 2 council leaders will greet your players. Gwen Humara thanks the adventurers for turning up and answering the call. Villagers are missing, and maybe the blight claimed them. Please investigate, as our history is bringing back painful memories. Selenar interjects. That dragon was killed, so we prefer the blight to be gotten rid of as soon as you can. We'll hold things down from here, but you can make yourself home to prepare. They get a hollowed out tree to squat in. The question, what's in it for us, will probably rise up, and you'll say a specific gold amount that you think will entice them, but the module says they can take anything they find in the forest, where usually you probably wouldn't be allowed to do that. Now, Gwen Humara will say that she'd like to make antitoxins for the party, which will keep the blight from affecting them. This will require going out to a local grove and bringing back some samples. Remember that she's too scared to leave. So as they plan or prepare, each evening in this village, there's a little social get-together. It's like a cookout. Kids are playing, and sometimes little performances are put on. So you can insert singing, dancing, some games, horseshoe toss or archery. Basically just some fun roles for the party to stretch their skill. Now all the villagers chip in with food to Fergus, the cook. He will accept donations towards his business enterprise, improvise some NPC types, and have them drop rumours into conversation. Beware of bandits in the woods. These bandits are now zombies. The woodland is cursed. Evil trees lurk. Twig blights, that kind of thing. Elthan the warrior's sword is still out there somewhere. It's in the hoard. A forest spirit resides in the trees. Maybe Death at Sunset is a Dracolich now. It's a dryad and it's the offspring of the dragon. Among the crowd near 2 horses, chatting occasionally with passers-by, is a golden-haired halfling called Sunny. She has a pop-up table of goods to sell, including 4 vials of alchemist fire. She has 1 antitoxin and 4 potions of healing. Now you can limit the goods she sells to 100 gold pieces worth of items. There are plenty of useful printouts for these occasions to hand to your players when deciding what shops sell. I just hand these pages out to the players and even inspire the players what they can buy, and they might improvise things off the back of it. You might get the prices wrong and charge too much or too little, but it doesn't matter. That's what waggling's for. From the village to the grove is 3 miles east travel, which takes about 1 hour on foot. As they reach Redwood Grove, they will see 6 tall redwood trees, 300 feet tall to be exact. Their canopies causing the sun to dapple the grove through the day, but at night it's pretty damn dark. A stream passes through the area, but it does require a save to not be poisoned or take 1d6 damage. Now if you have the sun setting as they arrive here, you might have the party notice some wispy shadows moving between the trees. These are the ghosts of the elven warriors who fought the original dragon. The breeze carries a whisper of warning. Her legacy returns. The map provided falls short with its scale in my opinion. I would suggest you make each numbered area much further apart, so that the locations don't interfere with each other. Now we can treat each numbered area as its own scene. As an overview, you can describe the sickly scene of sickly trees and a burial mound at the centre. And dead bodies over near a campfire will stand out prominently. Maybe give them a nudge to remember they're here to collect samples and go back to the village really. Area 1. Wilting flowers and blackened grass surround one of the redwoods, and murky sap dribbles from the broken bark. They can collect sap in an empty vial. You did give them an empty vial, right? Okay, maybe they use their empty water skins. 2. The bark of this tree seems to have shed like scaly skin, and the bark plates could hold what's needed, so pop that in an empty container too. Now, area 3, this tree has a massive mushroom shelf protruding from it. There's a green-skinned man sat on the shelf. He starts with a get off my lawn mentality, following with bandits aren't welcome here. He doesn't want trespassers near his tree, upsetting the natural order. Upon discovering the players are actually hoping to do good, he will allow them to take a sample. If they don't just kill the dryad, he will tell them of a wormling, most likely being to blame somewhere nearby. Although beware, an angry elf seems to be guarding this tree further in the grove, just in front of what seems to be a tunnel underground. The dryad is AC 16, 22 average health, speaks Elvish and Sylvan, so if you have to make it common, do so, otherwise it's a bit of translating via drawing or miming, I'm afraid. They can speak with plants and beasts. They will make a vine lash attack +6, 10-foot reach for 8 slashing. Or for ranged, it's still +6, 60-foot range for 7 piercing. Then it can use Charm Monster. One creature you see within range makes a wisdom save. It does so with advantage if your allies are fighting the dryad. On a failed save, the target has the charmed condition until the spell ends or until your allies damage it. The charmed creature is friendly to you, so it will just persuade the other players to give up, don't attack this guy, he's alright. If within 5 feet of a large or bigger tree, he is, the dryad teleports to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of another tree within 60 feet. Now it can cast Entangle, which could prohibit your player from moving. So ultimately, think of it as, I'd try and charm the biggest threat to just stop attacking. Then Vine Lash or Thornburst a different player before teleporting out of the way and putting some distance between them. You've got 60-foot range on the Thornburst, and you can keep putting yourself 60 feet away. Can you go up the tree? Of course you can. You're a dryad, sure. The tree might come down and hold you. I don't know. D&D, do what you want. Ultimately, the dryad's not actually bad. But I want to offer an alternative dryad. This is a Duskthorn dryad from Tome of Beasts. The AC is 17. The health says 77, but you can just hold on till you've had a good scene and then drop the dryad. This one does speak Common, Elvish, Sylvan and Umbral. She has Charm Person, Entangle, Invisibility, Magic Missile. You have options here. Barkskin, Counterspell, Wall of Thorns, Fog Cloud, Shillelagh. You can allow this dryad to be a nuisance for the players thrusting away at it, trying to kill it, and it's just like, yeah, whatever, until they eventually, okay, truce, and be like, I see you are committed to your job, and if that's to save the forest, then fine. Their weapons are a dagger +7 for 7 piercing, or a longbow +7 for 9 piercing. Now this could be useful if your players have brought a posse of NPCs from the village, or you feel their builds are more powerful than you expected. So just remember, your dryads don't have to want to fight them to the death. Trip them up, pull their hair, slap them, embarrass them, all for the benefit of the scene. A passive perception of 13 will have the player see a snake camouflaged among the tree roots on its way to bite someone. That bite is 4 piercing and 3 poison, and then it will slither back to a certain tree with a tunnel back down to its lair. Area 4. The ground near this tree has footprints of both humanoid and a pawed thing. Armin and his dog are hiding. They will attack when the players encroach on the tunnel. Now Armin's deal is that he sacrificed himself to save the village. He has to defend the green dragon's lair so that the green dragon doesn't go to the village and wipe everyone out. Because if we look in the green dragon's description, it says, green dragon wormlings learn the art of manipulation, accumulating lackeys before claiming their own territory. The dragons prey on the fears of shorter-lived beings, corrupting and isolating them. So Armin was captured a month ago when he wandered into the lair. After days of torture, he agreed to be a guard of sorts. There must be something that makes Armin not just run off, get the village and come back, so more on that later. It makes sense to me that he would see the players and implore them to go back to the village and say, I'm alright, but I'm in a bit of a predicament. Well, then the party will say, no, we got this. Armin is too scared to face the strong wormling himself, though. If this does help him, please click subscribe or click like, because that's what I judge the videos on. If Armin attempts to leave before the dragon is killed, then something else tries to kill him on its behalf. So I'm going to steal something from within the lair, which is giant caterpillars. I reckon they are subservient to the wormling, and so they're always watching from the woods somewhere. If you try and make a run for it, we're going to be after you. Area 5. This is a muddy bog with half movement, and it also triggers a con save to not be poisoned. 3 mud mephits rise from the bog. Mud mephit, AC 11, hit points about 13. They can fly, but they only move 20 feet, that's quite slow. They explode when they die, which can restrain you in sticky mud. They slam you for a +3 for bludgeoning. They expel this muddy breath, 15 foot. Again, you are restrained. So I would say their first attack would be, get these players restrained and then we can slap them silly. And they will try and hover out of the player's reach. Ideally above them because, you know, gravity, it doesn't matter what their range of breath is, it'll fall on the players. If you're sick of using mud mephits, try the treacle from Tome of Beasts. The treacle is a tiny ooze. AC 13, 22 health, senses of the creature's emotions. It assumes the shape of any tiny creature or object. I would just say that it kind of morphs into a muddy version of a player, even though it technically isn't tiny. But if it touches your skin, it's a 1d8 necrotic damage per hour of contact. The victim's maximum health points are reduced by that number of damage. Blood is drained so slowly that the victim doesn't notice the damage unless he or she breaks contact with the treacle. When contact is broken, the victim notices blood on his or her skin or clothes with a wisdom check. So yeah, like a very slow burning acid, but it's just mud. You know how players don't say, oh yeah, wash all that blood off from the last battle? Just bear that in mind. Just say, you are absolutely filthy, and if they don't wash it off, then you can keep stealing their hit points. Or a hit point. Look, they're only level 1, let's be gentle. You could always have 2 mud mephits and a treacle, or whatever, mix them up. Area 6, inside this tree, lurks, as I've mentioned, centipedes. Loads of them crawling on the walls. And 1 giant centipede. The small ones have a 20-foot speed, the big ones 30 feet, so they can keep up. Area 7, okay, so this is the most likely one of the things that will grab their attention. It's a campsite with dead bodies. 3 decaying corpses, lay down, covered in flies and gore. Is it any surprise that these corpses stand up as zombies? Well, yeah, let's consider that they don't, for ages. Even through prodding and searching, they don't rise up. Then have a certain moment, a loud noise as they're walking away, then they suddenly are activated. They died from drinking in the streams, so maybe have them like clutching their throat or stomach. Maybe water skins lay on the floor nearby. Now these are dressed as bandits, so if they recognise that from the rumour back in town, they'll put 2 and 2 together. Now Armin and his dog have been over here, so if they meet him first, it seems likely that they'll say, oh, some bandits died over there. There's quite a lot of stolen goods to be found here for level 1 characters. Some gold, crossbows and bolts, swords, oil in a lantern, a shovel and a healer's kit, useful, especially for that treacle's damage. Area 8, this burial ground for the fallen elves, now has blighted corruption. Maybe a stone marker speaks in Elvish about the fallen warriors. 34 in total. A sense of foreboding overcomes the party. Maybe invisible hands tug at the hair or backpacks or pockets. And in their peripheral vision, ghostly warriors seem to flit in and out of vision. A woman seems to be the most prominent among the visions. Her sword is missing from its scabbard. Now you can implement a flashback or a dream or a vision when touching something like the mound, and they just see the actual battle against the original Death at Sunset. The dragon unleashes this gas cloud, poisoning all the warriors in tunnels in its lair, before Ethvan, the leader, swung the defeating blow, either with her sword or not. It's missing still. I would say they are now level 2, so before they descend, let them have a moment to be stronger. Especially if they go back to town for those antitoxins. They have the details now, they could be poisoned. And the antitoxins stop that from being an issue. So the lair also needs to be expanded in size. Allow each area to be its own thing. It's dark down here, and even dark vision only does black and white vision what gets fuzzy at the edges, and really blurry at a distance. It would be crazy to stumble around without a light source. Beneath 40 feet ceilings, the wormling's tracks are findable with a DC 13 survival check, and they lead to the centre of the cave. Area 1. 4 Redwood Watch elves stumbled in to the same fate as Armin. But wouldn't he have just told them to go away, because he'd have been at the door guarding? Unless he was being tortured. So Armin would then know that they were also here, and maybe would give over that information at the door. How about we make these Redwood Watch characters ghosts? They were tortured and died. Armin isn't allowed back in. Maybe he saw them die, doesn't realise their spirits are now tormented. Maybe the Redwood Watch guards were tortured to show Armin, I'm not messing about, I will kill you, but I want you to guard the door. Now you can have these ghosts attack here. One of the ghosts might surrender and tell of a vial of acid still hidden in his bedroll, and then asked to be killed so that his spirit is freed. The module says that they are alive, and so they can be escorted home. Boring. Anyway, down further in, it's really slippery down this slope, and it's half speed to get back out. Down area 2, there's a large pit full of serpent types. 2 giant venomous snakes, 6 ordinary venomous snakes, and 1 constrictor snake. And then further up, there's a bit of an opening to a second room, where a type 1 UNT will appear from if the snakes make some sort of alarmed sound. Now, area 3, this UNT is Maralissa. She has a pet venomous snake, maybe around her shoulder, which she refers to as Robbie. She is Sunset is Nye's most loyal servant. She will check that these strangers are merely here by mistake and aren't a threat. But she and the snakes in the pit will jump to attack and defend their queen. Area 4, this is a root cellar for storing crops and vegetables to be eaten. Long, twiggy roots and vines seem to stick out the walls. These are twig blights and vine blights. Maybe if they do walk in and brush against the sticking out tendrils, that's what activates them out of the walls. They are guarding the stored items. Twig blight is AC 14, only 7 health, has pack tactics. They scratch you for +4 for 4 slashing damage. A vine blight is AC 12, health of 19, +4 constricting vine, grapples you doing 1d8 bludgeoning at the start of each turn, but can cast entangle. So the vine blight is in charge of grasping all the players, and the twig blights slice them to bits. But don't literally have all your players die for good. Do they have gods? Do you drop them just to 1 health instead? Area 5. This area has centipedes crawling all over the walls still. 2 giant centipedes stand out as the parents, I guess. Nothing of note is here, so dull. May I recommend a dead skeleton of an adventurer with a satchel containing notes on how to train centipedes, or at least collect things from them. Perhaps a note with a poem on that serves as a password to a secret area in a different map entirely. This can be brought out at the DM's leisure in a future campaign. Maybe green gas still hovers here. Could this be bottled for a ritual or weaponised even? 6. Again, this thick fog surrounds a dragon's skeleton. This is still an area of potent poisoning gas. I hope they have those antitoxins. The skeleton bones itself could create cover for +2 to AC. Now, Sunset is Nigh has blind sight, meaning people behind total cover or even invisible can still be seen. Is this gas flammable? I don't know, DM. Is it? Would that be cool, or would it upset the final combat? The wormling will taunt the weaklings, using the same reasonings which worked on the elves. I will kill all your families. Add Maralissa to defend the green dragon and get that poison breath spurted out. First thing, even if the PCs are immune. That's their go-to, and then melee last. A green dragon wormling is AC 17, 33 average health, a flight of 60 feet, although the cave is only 40 feet high. Blind see out to a 10-foot range, so there is a limit to it. 2 rend attacks, plus 4, doing 7 slashing and 3 poison. And it's poison breath, a 15-foot cone, 21 average poison damage and half on a success. Fly, poison breath, move, claw, claw, fly, claw, claw, poison breath. Keep it interesting. Don't be afraid to have the wormling move and the players get opportunity attacks. It's just more realistic and gives them a bit of a chance. With the old horde gone from the first dragon, this wormling's done its best to get its own treasure pile. Loads of copper and silver rubbish coins I never even use. There's gems and some low-level magic items. Dust of Disappearance, which gives an invisible emanation. Keatom's Ointment, stops poison, condition and gains health points. The Potion of Giant Strength, improves your strength score for 1 hour. The Scroll of Web, causes difficult terrain and creates lightly obscured areas. Plus, the Leaf Warden, the Sword of Ethvarn, basically a dragon slayer's longsword. It deals extra slashing to dragons and gives an attack boost plus the sap weapon mastery. If you hit a creature with this weapon, that creature has disadvantage on its next attack rolls before the start of your next turn. So effectively there is a big party. Everyone pats them on the back, they get personalised songs are written into stories, loads of selfies taken with them. They get to keep the sword. Someone has the Dragon Slayer sword. I would say they can all have the title of Dragon Slayer. Greetings, I am Dragon Slayer Elvis Barnhop. They are now level 3 adventurers. If you want more in this series, then like the video, I will count that as a good signal. In the meantime, if you're new to D&D or thinking about starting, I made a video just for newbies, DMs and players alike. So watch this next.